Hello, my name is Mike Moss. I'm the Director of Parks here in Smyrna, Tennessee. We're videoing today from Lee Victory Recreation Park. I thought that would be appropriate just because it's our most visited park in the park system. I want to tell you a little bit about our Tier 2 reopening plan and some of the ideals that we're going to be putting out there for the public. As you may know, we already had 3 parks open: Sharp Springs Natural Area, Lee Victory Park, and Gregory Mill Park were already open, in Old Rock School Park, where the library is, didn't have gates, so it was semi-open. We've opened up all the parks today with social distancing guidelines in place, and also some restrictions remain in place. As far as the shelters, we're having a capacity maximum of 50 people that can use those. They're going to be starting back or resuming rentals on June 1st, and we're doing the same with our rental buildings. So they'll have a maximum of 50 people in those at one time, and they'll resume rentals on June 1st as well. We might ask that you just follow all the guidelines that are out there. I think everybody's seen those. Shelters and buildings, we're renting 1 a day. So used to we had 2 slots for rentals. We've backed that down to 1 each day to reduce the touch points, also reduce the use, and make sure they're clean for the user when they come in. Although we've opened several parks in Smyrna and practice areas and green spaces, I do want to tell you about some places that remain closed. The Splashtown Aquatic Facility remains closed for now. Also, the Outdoor Adventure Center is closed for now. The Gregory Mill Splash Pad is closed for now and remains closed. Basketball courts will remain closed. And I do want to answer some of the questions that the people have been asking about playgrounds. So for now, they're closed due to the touch points and the amount of people that use those. We just feel like for the safety and welfare of all the citizens and employees that we're going to keep those closed for the foreseeable future. In regards to athletic fields, in normal business, we'll have all 4 fields maybe operating at a park like this. Modifying our plan, you're going to see that we're using 2 fields per complex where possible. So we'll have the fields opposite of each other that will be used, and the other ones will be blocked off just to spread people out. We're trying to make it where people, if there's a group over here using the field, then basically the field diagonal to that will be used as well. The ones in between will not be used. We are asking people to bring their own chairs. We're going to move the bleachers out of the way where they can have chairs and just social distance when you're watching your kids play. So you're going to see, for example, here at Lee Victory Park, some of these bleachers, the large bleachers, will be pushed together and have some orange fencing around them. We just ask that people stay off of those for us. And then some of the smaller bleachers will be completely removed. If in fact we have tournaments going on and the concessions are open, just please note that those concessions will be following the guidelines, and the concession workers with masks and gloves and that type of thing. So we want to do our part. We want our volunteers to do their part. And as you may know, the concessions are run by our leagues and our park system. I do want to talk about something else that's in the athletics area in the Executive Order number 38. There's a difference between non-contact sports and contact sports. As defined in that order, some of the non-contact would be baseball, softball, volleyball, running, and that type of thing. And some of the contact sports would be football, lacrosse, rugby, basketball, and some of those type that's where it's close together. So the non-contact, we're starting to allow them to have practices and games as they should. And as stated in that order, the contact sports, it doesn't say you cannot play those. It pretty much says you can't play games and be close together, but you can do individual skills training and things of that nature. So for example, at our soccer fields, we won't open up those soccer fields for play, but if our league wants to have some skills training and that type of thing, we can let that happen. You might have noticed in the last couple of months in the park system, there's been a couple of projects that have been completed. So I wanted to tell you about those today and kind of how we're going to be operating those. Right now, the depot stage canopy down at the depot, I've been asked about this, but if you're using the depot, can you use the stage canopy? And the answer to that is yes. If you need to put a table or something like that under there, that is fine. For events, for right now, if you have a request for an event or a rental, just for that stage area and the seating area, we just ask that you call the office. We're going to take that case by case for right now. and base it on the guidelines that's been put before us. Also, if you're out in the Morton Lane area or Stewart's Creek area, you might notice that Cedar Stone Park has pretty much been completed. We get a lot of questions about when that park will be used as well, when they can start using that. So we are planning a ribbon cutting in the near future, and we are going to allow use of that park after the ribbon cutting. So, for us practices and tournaments, and we'll get back on schedule. Just realize that all of that will be modified, so the amount of people that we have in there will be based on the current guidelines when we open. So it still might be some of the youth sports that are played out there, still might be two out of the 4 fields being used and not all of them. Bleachers still may be pushed together or out of sight and using chairs. So I did want to address those two facilities since they've been recently built, recently completed, and we're getting a lot of questions. But I can tell you on the Parks and Recreation side, we're excited to get those completed and also get them into use for the Smyrna citizens and the visitors alike. As you may know, the town of Smyrna has 12 parks and over 800 acres of park land in the Smyrna Park system. Although we're not opening up everything, we are going to use some of that land and creeks and ponds to do some outdoor recreation. We're going to do some kayak floats. The Outdoor Center staff is going to schedule those, and also some small programs where we can have smaller groups together and help people get outside and enjoy the great outdoors. I do want to say thank you to our staff, the Parks and Recreation staff, and really all the town employees. If you've been around the town of Smyrna, it's one big team. We can't operate a park system without all the department's help, and that's the way it works. I also want to thank our town leadership for working us through this, getting to the Tier 2 reopening. Just in the last couple of months, it reminds me of how important parks are to the town of Smyrna and the citizens. And even the employees. It's amazing the amount of people that use these parks, and we're glad that we're getting to this point. And finally, I want to thank the citizens for their patience. They have been absolutely great and cordial in their calls to us and asking questions. A lot of them have asked before doing, and we really appreciate that. But saying that, I want to ask that everybody work together on this. It's going to take all of us to follow new rules, the social distancing guidelines and that type of thing when using the facility. So we're just asking that everybody pull together and make this Tier 2 reopening a success. That being said, we're just looking forward to seeing everybody in the parks.